Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, let me make sure the sound is clear. First and foremost, let me make sure the sound is clear. Okay, the sound is clear on my side. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakak. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. A mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit, teaching this word and believing this word as a whole, that y'all continue in sound doctrine and in the same Spirit. Shalom to the Akwak, that are believers of this faith and this truth. Lord, willing that they continue to pursue their lot, which is being a loving, a silent, and virtuous wife. And Lord, willing to most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. This statement was actually spoken by Apostle Gabar in a Tuesday class with the bishop, and it stuck in my head. But I had other things in mind, but this was stuck in my head. So the house of David waxed stronger, and Saul's house waxed weaker, right? And today, through the Spirit, we looking at the as the elect, right? The tabernacles of David, the 12 tribes of Israel, and the house of Saul would be, the 2/3. Then, even in the spiritual sense, we would look at the house of David as Yahushai's kingdom being reestablished through the church, right? And the end of Esau, symbolic to Saul's fall, right? So, Lord willing, this is edifying. It motivates you to encourage you to endure in this thing and to pursue to be of the house of David, you know. And when we look at Jonathan made a covenant with David. So like through the Spirit, Jonathan is really of the house of David, right? So again, low on this edifying and straight to the point. This is 2 Samuel chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, "Now there was long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker." I'm going to read that again. "Now there was long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker." Now, I want to get this because this just came to mind. This is not something I had written down. I do got some points written down that I got. Because this is the Lord's story. This is the Lord's system, right? That He set up starting in the heavens, and now we playing it out in the earth. We're actors in this thing, man. Right? This is Sirach chapter 33, verse 13. It says, "As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him." Right? Man, woman, and child is in the hand of him that made him, to render to them as liken him best. Good is set against evil, right? The good is the house of David, evil is the house of Saul. Life against death, which life is Yahweh Shai. So those that are of life, right, is the elect, and those that are deaf is dead, right? So is the godly against the sinner, the righteous against the sinner, right? David, Saul, and the sinner against the godly. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, and one against another, right? And this shows the Lord is a man of war. So it's the godly versus the unrighteous. It's a war. Godly against a sinner. It's a war, right? Exodus 15:3. The Lord is a man of war. Now I want to get this one too in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Um, I want to start at verse 3. It says, "And they repenting and groaning for anguish of the spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools counted his life madness, and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High? And his lot is among the saints. Therefore have we erred from the way of truth," which Saul did. He erred away from the word of truth, right? He didn't admit his fault, especially when the Lord told him to do what he was supposed to do. But David was that guy, right? That's why David Memorial is gonna always be spoken about. This is why his position, his throne is gonna always be there, right? And really under Yahweh Shai. It said, we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. We wearied ourselves in a way of wickedness and destruction. Yea, we have gone through deserts where there lay no way. But as for the way of Yahweh Shemashai, we have not known it. The house of Saul don't know the way of light, right? Because they're not truly illuminated. Really speaking about the 2/3, the house of Saul is the 2/3. They will never be able to come into this marvelous light because they wasn't set up. What we just read in Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 33, right? The potter mold them on this side not to get it. That's cold, man. What have pride profit us, or what good have riches with our vaunting bought us? All all those things are passed away like a shadow, and as a post that has by, right? Let me see. So yeah. So again, the wicked is seeing the righteous shine in light, like like every day. When brothers is going out to the highways and byways teaching, right? When you like, I don't know if brothers is doing that, or like say when you near, you could be near your house, you could be in the park, right? Especially in the city that you in, you teaching is automatically Jake is gonna catch on, the Hebrew Israelites, right? Some of us is wearing our fringes in our shirt, right? Eventually, of course, look how the world is catching on right now. The 2/3 on the left hand side of Israel is always preying on your downfall, right? Because you got some people that that fall out the truth, And I bet you some of your friends had in their mind, you know, I knew he wasn't gonna stay in this thing. Cause I have family members. Yo, you still teaching? You still doing that? Right? You gotta know through the spirit on the left hand side, they hoping on your downfall. Right? Like I said on another video, your faith makes you a target. When we go into the history, when you see Saul was trying to kill David, right? David was a target, right? Because David was the reflection that Saul's kingdom was over. And the Lord anointed David that all them times when Saul tried to strike him, nothing can happen to him. Then even reverse, David had multiple chances to unalive Saul, but he didn't, right? That goes even to the mindset of the righteous, man. Where it has to be the Lord will. Then later on, how did Saul die? Right? Died. He even asked a servant to stab him. He didn't want to die by these damn Philistines. Right? But David, he died of old age. Right? So let's so again, 2 Samuel 3:1. Now there was long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. Right? So the more the house of David grow, right? Really, that house of David, you look at the church of Yahushai, right? We are the church that's constantly growing. But I'm just trying to be confident. I want to be of the house of David, right? Okay, let's get into it. This is Job chapter 17 and verse 9. It says, "The righteous also shall hold on his way, and he that have clean hands shall be stronger and stronger." Right? Clean hands, or when we look at sin, clean hands from this world. We talking about the house of David. Yes, we can go into the history of David, but when we look at the house of David, they're clean because of Yahweh Shai, right? Because what is that? What is the house of David doing? Mortifying the flesh, right? Let me get that. Salaki. This is Romans. See, my phone is doing a whole lot. We don't want that. Romans chapter 8, verse 13. For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. Right? You have to put to death the things of the flesh. Right? When we even go to, let's go to this classic, Psalms 51. You know, this is something that should be in the arsenal. Sometimes we might forget because we in the flesh, but this should be an arsenal. I really just want to go to the point. Yeah, I'm gonna just go to the point. This is Psalms 51, going to verse 10. It says, "Create in me a clean heart, a clean mind, O power, and renew a right spirit within me." Right? So now David about to go beg, pray unto Yahweh Shema Shai. Make a clean heart into me. Right? Because David committed adultery. Then what else did he do outside of the adultery? He was sending, trying to send Uriah to war that he may die in war. So then it wouldn't look wrong. But then the Lord brought forth the prophet Nathaniel, right? But what is the children of the house of David doing? We're all sinners. But the elect on this side, we're taking accountability for our actions. And we're trying to call boldly on the name of the Lord. And when I'm saying truly the name of the Lord, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, we want a clean heart, a clean mind. We want him to renew a right spirit in us. This is why the house of David is constantly searching for the Lord, how to please him. Because the little that we do is still not good enough. Every day we're trying to please the Lord. And we always stem back, damn, I made that mistake that year. I made that mistake yesterday. I made that mistake here and here. Because we're always thinking about reverence, having a respect, because we fear the Lord. What if the Lord do the same thing he did to Saul that he do to us? Right? What is that? 1 Samuel 16, right? He had a unclean spirit in him. David was seeing this, man. And even a servant said, oh, you have an evil spirit. The Lord took his spirit from you and put an evil spirit in you. The house of David don't want that. This is why they make it mandatory within themselves to pray unto the Lord. Like the elder apostles, the Yaramayan, the head of the camp, he always say, man, brothers, even though brothers is praying, he always just say that, man, make sure you praying. Right? The house of David is praying, man. They confessing their faults. You got some brothers that can't, man, y'all keep repenting. If you already repented, right? And then you follow the commandment, it's no more sin. We ain't sinning no more. Yo, this is a filthy vessel. You committed sin before you came in this truth. Like even Peter, he felt he was sinful to be in this truth, man. You know how many people that came in this faith that felt like they was unworthy to be in this thing and was still in it and was still saying it was unworthy? That's the mind frame of the house of David, man. So cast me not away from thy presence, and not thy holy, take not thy rakakwadash from me, right? You don't want the Lord to take that spirit from you. Revelations 11:11 is real. Now you have the breath of life. Now you're breathing it. Everybody don't have it to that top level. Like the level when I look in Acts the second chapter, where brothers is speaking multiple languages, right? Where my faith is growing so much that I believe that the men of the Lord on this side is going to be able to say, in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you're healed. However it works, they're going to say the name of the Lord, and Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is abiding in them. So if they want somebody to be healed, they're going to be healed. If somebody got a damn demon in them, right, the men of the Lord is going to say, in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, get out of him, get out of her, right? I believe the men of the Lord is going to be able to touch somebody, and they might not even know, right? And they're going to touch them and take whatever problem it is, right? Maybe touch them and give them the sense of knowing that they're in the midst of those that follow Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? It might be somebody running from terror, right? And then the men of the Lord might put that blindness like Elisha did to the people of Assyria. I believe that's the power that's going to be like a beautiful taste of the Rakak Wadash, you know? But when it comes to this deep understanding, this teaching, that is part of the Rakak Wadash. Everybody don't got that. The house of David do, right? First, speaking of the men, the women have a little taste of it because, after the man is teaching, a woman ain't going to be able to break down what was already broken down and to go into other precepts and make sure that it's 100% truth because they wasn't molded that way. They have the Rakak Wadash, but it's a different taste, right? It's of the same spirit, especially when that woman is building up them children in the law, or she's sharpening up her sister, or building up a single sister, right? How she care for her sister. Hey, what if it's a new sister that come across, or a sister that don't have no husband, and she building with her? Yeah, how you deal with that sister, guess what? The spirit of the Lord is on you. If you rule, oh no, you better not be attracted to my husband. If you having second thoughts or craftiness in your mind about this woman, however it is, the Rakakwadash not dealing with you. It's different levels, but it's all of the same spirit. Right? Verse 12, it says, restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with the free spirit. Then I will teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. And this is David speaking on it. Now I know I'm a sinner. So guess what? We're gonna speak like Pastor Gabar was saying, man, we're filthy rags, right? So what he said it's three things we do, as being a teacher, what you do to new students or new believers, right? You teach them their nationality, you teach them the name of the Lord, and you teach them the law, statutes, and commandments. Which all three of these things, you're gonna be going into different points. You're gonna be going into homology of words, especially when you go into nationality. You might be breaking down African Americans. You might be breaking down history, either the 12 tribes, depending who they is. Right, you're gonna go into the slavery, how the names got changed, and that's multiple precepts, history information, the name of Yahweh. You're gonna go to different precepts, right? And then go into the Hebrew, right? Of course, we're gonna look at modern and we're gonna look at the Paleo Hebrew, break those things down, and we're gonna go into the law, right? And we're gonna dissect things that we're able to fulfill on this side, right? And be able to deal with those things first, right? Because we're gonna deal in order, right? If it's a woman, right, we're going to deal with a woman going into her menstrual cycle, or if she, when she has a child, or after she has sex, right? The order of a woman, right? And then even a man, right? We're gonna even go into a woman being covered. We're not gonna just stab somebody that's ignorant and unbelief. Hey, sister, where your pants at? She don't know nothing. I used to be like that. But now the Lord allow, they don't know nothing. So we supposed to, like Paul, he said, I meet everybody at their level. We supposed to meet those that are new to the faith, new ears that's hearing. We got to meet them to their level. Because truly those that don't have this understanding through the spirit, they're of the house of Saul. But if they come and attach themselves to this actual truth, they're going to become of the house of David, just like David made a covenant with Jonathan, which Jonathan is of the house of Saul. But because he made a covenant with David, he is of the house of David, right? So the house of David is teaching, man, and not just only teaching trans transgressors their sins. They're going to be teaching the transgressors the ways of Yahweh Shem Shai, how to please him, right? Let's go to this Proverbs, Salaki. Lord willing, everything is making sense for those that's watching now. Lord willing, is making sense for those that's watching later, right? Because you got to know the righteous are rising and the wicked is falling, right? We seeing it physically, but spiritually, it's happening first. It's happening spiritually first, right? This is Proverbs chapter 4 in verse 18 and 19. In the KJV, it says, but the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day, right? And that light is wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Let me get a precept real quick before we read 19. What's the precept I want? I think Baruch, the 4th chapter. I think that would be good. Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. No, yeah, Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. So like I was in the 1st chapter. Baruch chapter 4, verse 1, it says, this is the book of the commandments of the Most High and the law that endure forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. And that goes to the new believers. See, one, okay, so you get it. And I ain't even have to say it. The Spirit read the mind. Good job. Right? You got it's three things we're gonna bring out, right? You're gonna bring out the nationality, the name of the Father and the Son, right, and the Rakak Kodash, and the law, statutes, and commandments. So now that you're given in knowing the law, statutes, and commandments, right, you're coming into life. But if you leave what to knowing that you a Hebrew Israelite, to knowing the name of the Father and the Son, and the law, statutes, and commandments, you shall die if you leave it. It says, "Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it," which Jacob is the symbolic to the 12 tribes, because that's the father. It says, "Walk in the presence of the light thereof." Right? That light is Yahweh Shai, right? Synonymous with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That is the light, right? Just like the law is a light, that thou mayest be illuminated. Illuminated means to be enabled to truly understand the scriptures, really the secret of the scriptures. Let's get another point of light. This is Ephesians 5:14. "Wherefore he saith, Awake thou that sleepest, arise from the dead, Hamashiach shall give thee light." Right? Dead is darkness. Darkness is this world being consumed. Now you could be physically dead, but you're in the spirit world. But to be dead on the earth, you're spiritually dead, right? If we go, I don't think I can do it because I got this right here. You know what? I'll do it right here. Um, Ephesians 5:14. Let's look up that word dead. G3498.
Strong's G 3498. Nekras. Nekras.
Necros. Lifeless. What is life? Life is Yahweh Shai, right? Without wisdom, knowledge, understanding, you have no life. Um, Without life, spiritually dead, right? This is spiritually dead. It's a metaphor. Spiritually dead, man. So again, Ephesians 5:14, "Wherefore he saith, Awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead." Arise from being spiritually dead, and Hamashiach shall give thee light. What is Yahweh Shai giving us? He's giving us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's what the baptism of Yahweh Shai is, right? Being washed by the word, right? Let's get it. Verse 26, it says that he might sanctify and cleanse it. You know what? Because it's going into the church. And again, the house of David is the church of Yahweh Shai. And he's the head of the church. He's the chief cornerstone of the church. So this is Ephesians 5:22. "Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as unto Yahweh, as unto the Lord, Hamashiach Yahushai. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Hamashiach is the head of the church. He is the savior of the body." Yahweh Shai is the savior of the church. The church is the house of David. Therefore, as the church is subject unto a Mashiach, right? The church, starting with the men, women, and children, were subject unto Mashiach in the order of 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, right? The Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, man and woman. So let the wives be to their own husband in everything, right? Basically submitting. Husbands, love your wives, even as Hamashiach also loved the church, because the church is Yahweh Shai wife, and gave herself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. The Lord is cleansing us by the word, right? I'm going to even read it in NLT, verse 26. "To make her holy." Holy means set apart. Hebrew, Hodash. "And clean, washed by the cleansing of the Most High's word," right? If the other video uploads later on, dealing with what we couldn't bring out yesterday, James chapter 1, verse 22 to 25 in the NLT, that Don't just listen to the word of the Lord. Do it, right? Don't just listen to the word and don't do what it says, right? We should be applying it. That's what truly being washed. That's how you clean, when you apply what you learned, right? Somebody can go into just David, right? David, and because we talk about David and how David feared the Lord, because to know that you're anointed, he didn't want to touch the anointing. He didn't do it. He just wait until it was time. And then David in the end didn't have to do nothing because the Lord set it up, right? And you can bring out certain precepts and that could be edifying for you, right? When you come in this truth, not to boast ourselves, but you want to look at yourself in the spirit like you were called in this thing, just like an anointed person or man or woman is called in this thing, you know, used for fulfilling the purpose of the Lord. And that's not something we want to take lightly. It's like, oh, why did he choose me? So if you're in the house of David, it's like you should be starstruck. Why the Lord choose you? You ain't nothing. You ain't good enough. But because you in this thing, you wanna be determined to make yourself worthy on Yahweh Shema Shai, that he chose well, right? So Lord willing, y'all got that. I know common sense wise, I know those that are of the faith, I know they got it, right? Let me see. This is Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. You truly don't got the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of the Lord, because you're not speaking pertaining the words that's in these scriptures. Isaiah 60 and 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, which is Yahweh Shai, right? But in the spiritual aspect, what I said earlier, Revelation 11:11, that light is that breath of life where you actually know what's going on. And it's really by scriptures. The spirit is not just dwelling in you, do. No. That spirit is like how the opposite of Superman. The kryptonite for, the Israelites is sin. But when you look at Superman, he goes to the sun and he regenerates and gets strong and he just get recharged. When we come back to Yahweh Shem Shai, we get regenerated, recharged. We get back reconnected. And how do we get back to the Lord and understanding what we're supposed to do? Understand what he did. The word. The word, right? That's why it's saying Isaiah 13, lift up a banner in the high mountain. The high mountain is America, but the banner is the sign. The banner is the truth. The banner is the word. It's the Bible. It says, in the glory of Yahweh Shema Shai is risen upon thee, right? And that goes even with St. John 15. If you abide in me, I abide in you. The Lord is rising up within the tabernacles of David. And Lord willing, we going to get it because uh, the Lord is raising up the tabernacles of David. How is he doing it? Through the Spirit. Physically, Yahweh Shai going to deliver the tabernacles of David, the elect. But through the Spirit, he's raising it up. This is a privilege. And now that we in this thing, it's your responsibility to hold tight on it. It's your responsibility to keep your position. Like when they do musical chairs, and you keep going around, it's like 14 chairs, and then it goes all the way down to one. It's your responsibility to make sure when that music stops, you sitting in that chair. It's your responsibility when Yahweh Shai come back that this whole time you were trying to make yourself worthy unto Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Right? So now let's go to my next precept I got lined up right here. This is Psalms. So like that's not it. This is Psalms chapter 75, verse 6 and 7, the KJV. It says, for promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south, but the Most High is the judge. He putteth down one and set up another one. This right here is plain. The Lord is the one uh, um, who will rise and who will fall. All those kings that were, well, this one was righteous, and all the ones in the northern kingdom was all wicked. The Lord set this all up, right? What I was reading today, Hebrews 12, this just made me even think. And now I just said what I just said, and I say this in multiple lessons, right? The Lord is the example of, especially Yahweh. He shows the true example of a king. He don't have to get on this throne. That's why he created, other powers to do his bidding. But Yahweh Shai is the author, right? The author and the finisher of our faith. Yahweh is the supreme author of this whole story, because all of this was in him. This was in him. So he set this all up so that this actually can happen. So this is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doeth so easily beset us. Let us run with the patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High. Right? If you are the house of David, you're going to truly know and admit Yahushua is the key. Yahweh set him up. He's the middleman for us to get to Yahweh. Yahweh is the true example of a king. He don't have to get off his throne. He don't got to do nothing. He just got to say, I need this done. He could be telepathically speaking to an angel or to Yahweh Shai to go do this and do that. Yahweh is showing a true example of rulership. And the other reflection, father like son like father, father like son, Yahweh Shai is the example of his father. This church is ruled in order. You have a left side and right side. The Heavenly Father created the left and right side to be a righteous balance. Yahweh Shai is going to be that physical example as a ruler that's going to move on behalf of what the Heavenly Father Yahweh wants. We're going to physically dwell with Yahweh Shai. The Heavenly Father is still going to dwell in his domain, right? The fourth dimension. If he came down, his glory would destroy all of us. But if we are of the elect, we're going to abide in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Like literally, man. It's like soon as you plug a plug in the wall, the electricity already flows to whatever device and powers it up. That's Yahweh. And Yahweh Shai is the plug. He's the middleman to the socket, because nothing can get charged or connected without the plug. Right? Just like if I was to use my portable charger, both of them, right? I would look at this as Yahweh, but when it's connected, the source of the power, both of these, is going to charge. So the source that's in this system, this portable system, is Yahweh Shai. But this, you can't have no electrical circuit or any charge without this, right? Without this, it's no power. It's nothing. If this say is completely dead or if it's broke, it's nothing going through. But if you got 50, 100, right, battery, just in this, just alone, Lord willing, you can see what I'm talking about. 33%. You connect this to your phone, you're gonna get a charge. That power is the middleman in between this device, right? I basically simplified it on the lowest level, right? Yahweh Shai is the author and finisher of our faith, right? Yahweh Shai is the, the prize we're running to, right? That's our mark. On your mark, get set, go. Right? The house of David is still running till Yahweh Shai get here. This is Sirach Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another, right? Traded from one people to another. The Lord been doing that since the beginning of time. Adam, he was ruling all. Now look at these animals which Adam was ruling and was over the head of all those other nations at that time. Oh, so happy. Now the animals is in captivity. They in prison too. They got a curfew when they gotta eat. And they not naturally getting their own food, roaming around like they normally do. Things is out of wax because spiritually the house of Saul, which I quoted earlier, is Esau. It got the animals in bondage, got the world in wax. The house of David spiritually is rising up through this wisdom, knowledge, understanding. So physically, Yahweh can come and get us. Back to the physical standpoint, the 12 tribes, the 2/3, are enjoying this world. This is their kingdom. The 2/3, this is their kingdom on this side. I want my money, I want it now. I want my kingdom, I want it now. Those are the 2/3 who's living it out now. Do anything to live it out on this side. But the elect is being patient and knowing that something greater is coming, right? Let's go to Daniel, this is one of my favorite verses. One of them. Daniel chapter 2 in verse 21, but I'll start at 20. It says, Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of the Most High forever and ever, which is Yahweh, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and set up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. You get to sit back and know the Lord set Esau in his rulership. The Lord set the 2/3, these niggas to be like that. The Lord set it up. We can't fuck with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So you might as well buckle up and enjoy the ride and come serve Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and be in the house of David, man. But guess what? I can't make you. You can't even make yourself. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has to make you. It's so cold. The Lord set up kings and remove kings. The Lord is removing the house of Saul, right? The Lord is removing Esau to establish the reign of Yahushai, which will never fall, never be consumed, right? When we was in Proverbs 4:18-19, you got to understand, just as David's house increased in light and strength, Saul's house was stumbled into darkness. So when Saul and Jonathan was put to death, guess what? The rest of the house of Saul, right? You even had some of Benjamin trying to fight against David, right? They wanted one of his descendants to be on the throne so bad, but Yahweh Shemashai wasn't having it. When we was in Psalm 75:6-7, Yahweh was removing Saul's authority while elevating David. The house of David is being elevated spiritually. It's like getting in the elevator, right? While somebody coming down the elevator, somebody is going up in the elevator. And first, before the house of David get the throne, they have to get this knowledge. They have to get this spiritual sword in order, right? Let's get that spiritual sword. Ephesians 6:17. It says, and take the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. The house of David need this, right? So going into this house is a house of the Spirit and it's the house of the flesh. Saul represents kingship after the flesh, man's choice. I do what I want. That's the 2/3. I do what I want. I believe in the Lord, but man, I'm not trying to study, man. I'm trying to get this money. I'm trying to get the 6 figures. I'm trying to get all the hoes. I mean, all this. We put our salvation last, right? And that through the Spirit, you 2/3 act like Esau. You act like Esau, giving up your birthright, giving up your chance for that salvation, right? But then David's house represents kingship after the Spirit, right? So let's get this in Galatians real quick. This Galatians chapter 4 and verse 29 in the KJV. But as then he was that, wait, Salaki, but as then he that was born after the flesh persecuted him that was born after the Spirit, even so it is now, right? And even though this is going into Isaac, you got to the same even with Jacob and Esau. Jacob was of that chosen bloodline, so he was predetermined to be a child of light, while Esau is a child of darkness. You see where we going? The 2/3 on this side was born to be the children of darkness, while the elect is the children of the day, the children of light. Every day, make sure you are. When you having little moments, like I had my little moment last night, whatever was my thought in my head, but I let that thing out so that it wouldn't consume my thought, where it take me away from reading, take me away from watching videos. Guess what? Anybody just heard me say that or no? You supposed to be taking notes and be like, dang, he dealing with this. Guess what? It's women or men not dealing with, I'm dealing with. Just like it's certain things brothers is dealing with that we not dealing with, but we supposed to cope with what they dealing with and apply it in our lives. Where I would say, look, this brother is dealing with something I'm not dealing with. So this situation I'm going through, I have to have the mindset that he has, and let it go and keep pushing, because his situation is more extreme. You can't let anything get in the way from what's in front of you. Saul, just being the king, when the Lord told Samuel to tell him to kill all the Amalekites, man, preserve the damn Agag, the damn king, and then allow his soldiers to take the certain cattle that he was supposed to take nothing, destroy it all. Oh, what am I supposed to do to them? When you're a king, you have responsibility. When you come in as truth and you're a leader, the head of the camp, you're supposed to be speaking up on things, analyzing, making sure brothers is even teaching the same thing. Let alone brothers within that thing is supposed to have each other back. That's the true house of David. The house of Saul, do what you want. Move how you move. Dress how you dress. Speak how you want to, right? Have your daughter out here any way you want her to be. No, you have to have structure when it comes to being in the house of David, man. Right? So again, the carnal house decreases, the spiritual house increases. Right? What do the church always say? Oh, you're going to get an increase in your life. Man, excuse me, fuck that. The increase we want is the increase from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And we get to know we getting that increase by the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is giving us now. We didn't have this in the world, right? You have women that come in as truth. Yes, they probably virginity was taken, but you have women saying, "Damn, I wish you was the one that took my virginity. You know what? I wish you did have a woman beside you too, that was a virgin, so that you can actually benefit that on this side." It is women that's desiring those things, because how or why is because the women is reflecting themselves in this truth, right? Our one was supposed to be given to us when they were virgins, even more when they were young, so that we would enjoy it while they're ripe, right? And even the men of the Lord wants to benefit for their wives to enjoy this world and not have to worry about being outside, to knowing that a man gonna holler at her. right? Where they can be in their beauty, be shamefaced, and to be confident that nobody is going to try to approach them. And they say they married, and oh, I don't care if you is, I still want to talk to you, right? The house of David is motivating and comfort, right? Brother and sister, you got this. Continue to pursuing your lot. Sister, deal with your emotions and feelings, right? Find yourself in somebody else's problems and master you. The house of David is all about motivating. We cannot get in the kingdom sitting idle, being a lump on a log. Just like I just seen Shakia, whoever the heck her dang name is, looking like a lump on the log, right? And I believe the Lord dealing with, my first wife, right? And that was her friend, but she started looking at, and not even looking at her different, but started speaking about me a certain way. And if I'm just using this as an example, if my wife is a woman of the Lord, her spirit is going to be turned off on those things. Wait, you speaking about my Lord, my Adawan? Oh hell no, you getting excommunicated. You know, those spiritual moments. How are we on God for our family? How a man will be willing to lay his life down in the world. You know, most of us men will do those things. Still in the world, you love a girl, but now when it comes to how about Shema Shai, it's way different. Most of us men, we know the common sense. You come across a woman, and if she, check every dot, you want to take her in the bed chambers. But at the end of the day, a real man of the Lord, the house of David, is pursuing that this woman get in the kingdom. So the bed thing, that thing is already, it could be happening any moment at any time for however long. But to get in the kingdom, that's an endurance that you gotta continue to strive. And you need people around you that's gonna motivate you and push you to keep going and going. Only the house of David is doing that. The house of Saul is enjoying what they got in the flesh, right? Anybody that's on this live and you not being a motivation even to yourself, you're not at the house of David, man. If you sin idle, right, you got a blunt in your hand and you over here saying, oh, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, you the house of Saul, man. You still ain't fucking growing, man. You ain't developing, right? You want to hate the reflection of this world, right? Just like when you look in the mirror, there's something you don't like. Oh, I don't like this bump. It's supposed to be the same reflection as some shit you see in this world. You might see it attached to you and you're like, oh man, I still got this problem. I got that problem. You got to fix it. How we was whitewashed, now you got to wash it down with this truth. Sometimes, hey, it might make you upset. It might make you be like, dang, man, it is what it is. And then your flesh come back and then attack you. Hey, sis, you shouldn't do this. Hey, sis, you should bump against that because guess what? You got to fight that because when the scriptures out trump that because these is from the heavens. The house of David believes. The house of David believes. The house of David through the Rakakwadash is going to overcome. This is not my will. This is not your will. Yah Allah willing, Yahweh Ratazai, it's his will, right? So now, let's go into this point, which we were already quoting, right? Yahweh Shai's kingdom waxed stronger while Esau's kingdom weakens, right? And what did Yahweh Shai say in the gospel? When the kingdom is divided, it shall fall, right? Let's go to this prophecy, Amos 9:11. In the KJV, it says, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, right? So you got to understand that when we even go into this time of this being spoken of, the 12 tribes of Israel wasn't together. So what is this talking about? It's talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, the house of David being raised up in the faith and obedience in the likeness of Yahweh Shai, right? The tabernacle of David failed. The northern kingdom get kicked out the land, and then the southern kingdom get kicked out the land. Judah vexing Ephraim, such and such and such. But look at us now. We got an evil eye. If say of Judah, he'd be like, you know what? I want to get a Gadite. Most Gad family don't want their daughter with a Judite. Or Jake might want an Ephraim. You have an Ephraim of that old root that don't want no Negro dating their daughter. I want her to just date an Ephraimite, right? Jake can't be a Jake can't prefer one of his preference, or he'd be like, you know what, I want that preference, right? All because of what we did, the whole tabernacle of David is in shambles. But because the Lord have put the light is back on the earth. Ever since he woke us up after the late 1960s, 1970s, when Abba Bivens was teaching his word, now we're getting back slowly but surely. But you think it's all about having it now? No, we have to spiritually be built it and get ready for Yahweh Shai to come. Because physically, us men are gonna be the top of the food chain, man. You're gonna be the it factor. And your lady, however many ladies you got, they're gonna rule underneath you. They're gonna have power. They're gonna be able to have servants, right? They're gonna be in fully order where they're not trumping over you. Where your wife might just every day say Adawan. She's not saying babe or baby. Might kiss your hand, right? Yeah, you about to get ready to change. She's taking off your clothes, or she's saying, "Hey, yo, take his clothes, take his garment off, and give him that green garment." He might be gone for a month, and she's fully in order and already understand. Oh, he's with my sister, my sister wife. Oh, he's with his other wife, all the way under the ocean. And guess what? She's gonna have things to do. She's gonna have children to look at, right? And then he's gonna have so many children. She's gonna have to say, "Hey, babe, your son, Thaddeus." And you be like, "Wait, which Thaddeus? I got four Thaddeus." She gonna be like, the Thaddeus you had, uh, when 500 years ago. He wanted to see if he can go to one of your mansions outside of this planet. You know, satisfaction. Our women not gonna need every detail to feel secure by you. You could be somewhere else and mentally speak to her. Hey, yo, love, what you doing? You know, the tabernacles of David, whatever what we get right now in the spirit, hold tight to it, because what you're gonna get after this is greater than the little you get on this side. You think just because you laying in the bed with your husband, that's amazing, man. You don't even know what it is in your mind. You wake up at 3 in the morning, you like, I want a sandwich, but I gotta use the bathroom, but I don't want to go downstairs. You gonna go right and manipulate one of your servants' mind. Hey, make me a sandwich, and I want it like this. Your servant bring you up. That right there is more of an intriguing desire than laying up under your husband, man. You're gonna be in rulership. You don't need Jake. You don't even know what that is. We talking about the house of David that ruled for 40 years, and then Solomon ruled after him for 40 years, right? Where that 40 spiritually have multiple meanings, but it goes into newness. We're about to enter into newness, right? Right now, a man ruling his house, what we see in Timothy, if you can't rule your house, you can't, carry your. How can you think you could take care of the Lord's church? If a man is ruling his house, hey sister, look at the example he's about to be ruling houses. If he's ruling his house now, say if he's single and he got children, say if he got one wife, he got two wives, say if the Lord blessed him on this side, he got three, but he's still getting by, managing, but his house is in order. It's not in shambles 7 days out the week. He's dealing with problems. He's fixing it. Another problem come, he's still fixing it. He's not wearing out. He's still serving the Lord. He's still doing lessons. You gotta look. If this man is managing and me, managing the children, managing her, oh, he about to be ruling houses. The Lord is giving us, man, you know what? Just because I said that, man, I ain't gonna lie, I just started getting hot. What do I want? What do I want? What do I need? Dang, it just left me. Dang. Oh nope, came back. It came back, y'all. It came back. So like y'all, I had another precept stuck in my dang head. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18. I'm gonna read in KJV and NLT. It says, "While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal." In the NLT, so we don't look at the troubles we can see now. Rather, we fix our gaze on things that cannot be seen. For the things we see now will soon be gone, but the things we cannot see will last forever. Right? What you see now, you see this man's single, or you see him with one wife, or you see him with two. Guess what? That's gonna be done away with. He's gonna have 100-fold. Right? Ain't nothing new under the sun. Right? And what we see in the scriptures, guess what, sis? Guess what, Akim? Right? If it's already saying the kingdom gonna look like this with diamonds and pearl, guess what? It's already done. It's already finished. Us in the flesh, our time is slower than the Lord. So guess what? We gotta finish it out. But truly, it's already done. The man is already set doing whatever he doing. But when we finish it, we're gonna see and be like, yo, it's gonna be double that. So if a man is getting things in order in his life or in his house, even with his own health, guess what? He is managing through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh. Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai is managing his system through that man. And the things are in order because Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai is dealing with him. We supposed to be looking at this, imagine, through the spirit, like, yo, if the Lord got me doing this, like, if Yarmayan is still enduring and his problem is still being motivated, still feeling love, still teaching his word, that man, I can see he's going to have 100-fold. Because some brothers would quit from what he doing. Brothers with Sam and other brothers in Great Millstone that be having their own situations that they dealing with, but they still teaching, they still producing. They producing more than what they supposed to be producing. You can look at that spiritually like, yo, they gonna have double. Because if they're able to manage and still go hard for the Lord, they're going to have double. They're gonna have double. You know, if you're enduring in this thing, this endurance is building you up. Everything you dealing with, that Lord gave you that portion. Whatever you got in your life, the Lord gave you that portion because He know you can overcome. He know you can order it though to your liking. Because if somebody else had what you had, they will move it to their liking. But because you got it, you moving it to your liking. Salaki, this is why the system is made the way it is, right? When David got the kingdom, he moved the kingdom into his liking, right? Even though he did what he did, right in the beginning, David was doing everything that the Lord needed. He was doing this, right? He was dancing in front of Israel. I got the Ark of the Covenant dancing in front of the Lord, and his wife Michelle was thinking about other women. He said, "Man, if I did do it for them, they would honor me." Soon as he walked away, the Lord put that right in her womb. She never had kids. She never had kids. You better watch what you saying about the men of the Lord, or what you thinking in your head. You know, you better watch it. And that goes for even on this side. The house of David is watched. The house of the house of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai is covered. We might go through shit. You might get afflicted, but you are covered and watched. The things that you have is because Yahweh gave them to you, but He wants to see how you endure with it. When shit get rough, how you endure with it. But if you overcome, He knew you was going to overcome because He gave you enough that you are able to manage and be able to find a way to escape. And if you able to escape, able to manage on this side, the Lord about to give you more than that in the kingdom. King David about to get more. Whatever Saul doubled up on this side, the fall is going to be worser. Look at the twin harvest as an example. It's so high, it got hit here and it got hit here. but the fall was way more tremendous than the impact at the top, the impact in the middle. No, when it started to fall, the damage was way worse. If you on the top level and the plane hits 3 levels lower than you, you're gonna fall onto that level. You trying to recoup, then the plane hit the middle level, then that falls again. You trying to recoup again, and then it all collapse. You're finished. So Saul's is getting why he's growing and waxing in this kingdom. His fall is going to be way worse. He's going to be completely weak. That's why the more the house of David gets strong, when Yahweh come, it's just gonna keep growing. Because right now we spiritually growing. When Yahweh come, it's beyond. And when Esau fall, it's done. Luke the 16th chapter, where the rich man is when he went to his torment, which is really in the kingdom, he was asking if Eleazar can put his finger in that cup and cool down his torment, which is in the kingdom. And he couldn't, right? Because that is set for Esau to be tormented, to be a servant in the kingdom. Right? He's gonna be thinking about all the riches he had, how he was up this high. Esau trying to get past this level, but he can never get to this level because it was programmed for him to fall. Jake, it was meant for David's house to rise to the occasion, for Yahweh Shai to deliver him to exceed that height. Us ourselves can only go the distance, right? When man is impossible, but with Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, all things is possible. He's gonna allow it to exceed the max. We're gonna exceed it, limitless, man, limitless with Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. I'm sorry, I had to go into that deep. I had to go into that. I'm sorry, I had to. Right? Let's go to Luke real quick, the first chapter, verse 32, verse 32 and 33. In the KJV, it says, dealing with Yahweh Shai, he shall be great and shall be called the Son of the Highest. And Yahweh Shai power shall give unto him the throne of his father David. What? The throne of his father David. So what it say in verse 31? And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb, bring forth a son, and call his name Yahweh Shai. And he shall be great, and shall be called the Son of the Highest. And the Lord power, the Lord Most High, shall give unto him the throne of his father David. This is another indicator that Yahweh Shai is Solomon. Because it just said the throne of his father David, right? It says, and he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom there shall be no end. If it's never going to be an end, that kingdom is going to keep growing, right? Our wisdom, having glorified bodies, the wisdom is endless. Well, don't you know our wisdom on this side is tampered? Let alone how he created you. It's a certain percentage, what, 5, 10%? I think it's only 5. We only using 5, 10% of our brain. You have a whole brain in your head, and you're only using 5. When the Lord give you that glorified body, he's cracking a code, and the mind is going to be able to go further than it's going to go. Jake, we don't even know how that is. Have that desire, right? David said, I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the Lord's kingdom. David was thinking about the kingdom. Solomon was even saying that all of this was meaningless. Solomon had that wisdom to understand that this is a temporary kingdom. Because I'm gonna get all this riches and then I'm gonna die, then somebody else gonna take it. Who's gonna say they're righteous or they're wicked? Or what if they're righteous and they turn wicked? The real kingdom, all of this, the real kingdom is the kingdom when Yahweh Shai is fully ruling as himself in his glorified form. That's what you want. That's what I want. I don't know about you. So again, David house waxing stronger in the last days. Yahweh Shai ruling from the throne of David. right? Through the Spirit, David's house is waxing stronger through wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? So now let's go to Daniel, Daniel, the second chapter, verse 44. It says, in the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to another people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, which is Yahushai, in that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Right? Nebuchadnezzar, Daniel was telling him that this dream is sure, is going to happen. Soon as, these scriptures is already written and given to man. It's already done. It's going to happen. Why give up? Why give up your crown because you want to just enjoy yourself for another years, 5 years, 10 years? You might not even got that. You might die in five days, man. The Lord is getting ready to give Yahushua the kingdom, and the Lord is putting everything. When you play chess, it's all about putting everything in place to take the king, to checkmate the king. Yahweh is about to checkmate Esau while using Esau to checkmate himself. Come on. The Lord is checkmating Esau by himself. The Lord is checkmating the 2/3 by himself. The Lord is testing the 2/3. The Lord is testing the elect through Esau and the 2/3, man. This is chess. This is the best chess game ever, right? Let's go to Isaiah, the 9th chapter, and verse 7. It says, of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end until the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of Yahweh of hosts will perform it. Right? In NLT, it says his government and its peace will never end. What is the government? The elect. 140 for Yahushai, the 12, the 144,000. It's never going to end. Even under the 12 is the rest, the great multitude of Israel. It's never going to end. He will rule with fairness and justice from the throne of his ancestor David for all eternity. The passionate commitment of Yahweh of heaven's army will make this happen. You ever been in the kingdom forever? And we don't even know what it is not to be a servant or a slave. Finally, we're gonna finally get in our bag, man. Man, real beauty, man. We gonna get these last closing scriptures. The second Ezra 6 and 9. Second Ezra 6 and 9. I'm gonna start at 8. It says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Jacob. This was already the sign of the end, right? In Simnanis, who's really taking the heel of Esau, right? Yahushai, pulling him from on high down. He's going to become weaker. For Esau is the end of the world, which grabbing the heel is the representation of him being the end of the world, or the end of this rulership, the end of this time. And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And wherever Jacob is, wherever that beginning is going to be, in Yahweh Shem Shai, is going to be forever. And the earth is going to actually blossom and bloom better than it ever have. Because it's going to be under righteous rulership, and it's not going to be no more idols, no more false gods. The nations are going to be forced to believe in Yahweh Shem Shai, because he's going to only be there. Ain't no more idols no more. This is Obadiah 1 and 18. It says, and they of the south, wait, Salaki, verse 18. Yeah, let's start at 17. It says, oh man, it says, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, right? Zion is the people, and there shall be holiness. In the house of Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel shall possess their possession. Not only our land, not only the other part of the inheritance, but what else is part of the inheritance? The nation. I will give you the heathen for your inheritance, right? In the house of Jacob shall be fire, in the house of Joseph a flame. This is Esau's torment, the kingdom. In the house of Esau for stumble, right? Stumble is what you walk over. We're going to be walking over Esau, right? And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh Shemashai has spoken it. We're going to wear them out like batteries. You know, when you got a battery, it don't work no more. You're trying everything, you put them in the freezer. Look, we're going to wear them all the way out, right? From being a servant, we're going to wear them out till after them being a servant and is fulfilled, they're going to be destroyed. This is all Yahweh Shemashai is doing, right? So again, want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh, the water for this edifying lesson. Lord, when it was edifying to y'all. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. A mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit. Lord willing, as a whole, y'all continue in sound doctrine and in the same Spirit. Shalom to the Akwath young believers of this faith and this truth. Continue to endure. And Lord willing, you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. Lord willing, the most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. Again, pursue to be of the house of David. Pursue to be of the house of David. It's not beneficial for any one of us to be the house of Saul. But guess what? You want to have the fear of Yahweh Shema Shai because he can blow your candlestick out and you can actually be in the house of Saul and not know it and think you are the house of David. Always be circumspect, cautious in this thing. Always be serious, right? Right? Always find yourself having spiritual moments, you know, mentally and spiritually, right? Find yourself having conversations of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, meditating something, right? Because we're getting closer to the edge of the worst happening. These lessons is to motivate you, even if brothers are going over the law, if it's parables, dark sayings, if it's prophecies, if you brothers going over death, brothers are going over war, whatever it is, man. All of these things is to build up your faith and prepare you for what's to come. So when things do hit the fan, say you don't got your Bible, your phone not working, you're going to meditate on what you heard and what you believe, what you was taking in. You're going to think like, man, we really in this, yo. I just looked out my curtain and I'm seeing somebody trying to cook their child. I see all these houses that we all lived in, all the doors is open, people breaking in their houses, but house. Guess what's the find a meal that the Lord is gonna be play. Wisdom, knowledge, understanding is given unto you. This is a play. If you don't see this right now, that the Lord is making place for you now, that you gotta have faith. He's gonna make plays in those days too. So with that, shalom, ababa.